All right, YouTube. Spearhead Transmission. We got a guest host. It's Garrett Grover,
Right
three Gunslinger. Yeah, so he's here. And we're going to go live with our podcast in approximately 20 seconds. So you might hear some dead air. But remember to subscribe, click the bell, and you'll get updates anytime we go live. All right. All right, man. So now we'll do the regular podcast. What's the date?
The 3rd.
All right.
Yeah, now that I have a real job, I have to keep track of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so anything you say right now is on YouTube. So
yeah.
All right, just to be
so I can't pick my nose or anything.
Well, you can. It doesn't matter. That's fine.
Will see it.
Yeah. Can't be so the other day.
I've been self-employed for 7 years now.
Uh-huh.
Well, not counting my time in Afghanistan, but.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Spearhead Transmission. It is August 3rd, 2017. It's time to break those chains and water that tree. So look at that. There's somebody else in Nick's chair. For all you that aren't watching on YouTube, which you should be watching on YouTube, so we become millionaires, famous millionaires. Yeah. There's this other guy sitting in Nick's chair.
Way better looking. Nick
is at home. He has diarrhea. And so he decided not to come to make it here tonight. So we have a long-lost friend, somebody that I've known since we were 8.
Yeah, it's probably been 34, 33 years.
A long time.
Over 30 years for sure.
How old are you? I'm only 32.
Well, you're a lot older than me, so I don't know. I guess my math isn't that good.
So it's Garrett Grover, right? So all you... Yeah, cheer. No, everybody that is in the shooting industry must know who you are by now.
Yeah,
right?
No.
So for all of our listeners that enjoy competition shooting, this is going to be a special show for you, I'm sure. But I did want to kind of give a history of how we know each other, because there's probably a lot of listeners that maybe have heard our show before, right? And have heard you on our show before, because you've been on a couple times before.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times, right? And so, but those are episodes years past, and we've probably gained maybe 4 or 5 listeners. And for those 4 or 5 listeners, we definitely want to.
It's important for them.
We need to know the history. So, so we grew up in the Black Hills together.
Yep. Played soccer together as little kids.
Lost every game except one. Who did we beat?
We won a game?
We beat the Belfouche Mudslingers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Belfouche.
I don't remember that at all. I just remember losing a lot.
We did lose a lot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to be honest, how many games did we play? It might have been 8, but we lost 7.
Yeah.
So, losing sucks, but whenever you're, 10, it didn't really matter.
And we always had fun.
Yeah. We're more interesed in chasing, playing tag.
Yeah.
Than playing soccer.
Having wrestling matches in the goal. In the game.
That would be probably more appropriate.
Yeah.
So then we grew up together, basically.
Yeah, we kind of, we played soccer together, and then there was a couple of years where you were going to school in Lead, and I was in Deadwood, which is only 3 miles apart. It's might as well be a million miles when you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
So, and then in 7th grade, we had Mrs. Martin in homeroom.
That's right.
And reignited our friendship, and then it's been constant ever since. I joined the Marines out of high school, and you joined the Army.
Reignited our friendship. You made it sound like it was.
Yeah, I didn't know.
A love affair.
Reignited is a good word. Sure, why not? And then I joined the Marines out of high school. You joined the Army. We both got stationed on Oahu. So we got to hang out. Not as much.
You said that like you were puzzled, like Oahu.
Well, I was trying to remember. It's been a long time. It's been over 20 years, man.
God dang,
yeah,
dude.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
But we didn't get to hang out as much as we probably should have during that time. But
deployments and stuff like that. But
and then we lived in Oregon, South Dakota, Oregon, Oklahoma, and here we are.
First time we were in Hawaii together. We were downtown, and we were walking around.
Yeah,
and I was already a seasoned
Yeah, you had been there
Hawaiian.
for 2 or 3 months. I'd been there for a couple days. Yeah.
And we were approached by a gentleman with a fanny pack.
And some business cards.
They weren't really. It wasn't like they weren't. They were paper cutouts, right? Tickets.
I don't remember.
They were tickets.
Was it a ticket? Is that
what it was? They were tickets.
I don't really remember.
And
what it was.
On the ticket,
but I know what you're talking about.
On the ticket, it said, "Go ahead."
Well, he handed one to me, and you were like, "No," and I looked at it. It was a picture of a penis and a mouth, and it said "free blowjobs."
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck is this? And you snatched it out of my hands and threw it in the bush, and you're like, no, that's a guy. I was like, okay. Is that real, though? Do people actually do that kind of stuff? Because I was a little naive when I was younger, you know? So.
And what was that guy's name?
Well, we called him.
Well, everybody called him.
We called him Bob.
Blowjob Bob.
We just called him Bob.
Oh, well.
In my Marine Corps group.
Well, his name was Blowjob Bob. That was the running name.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, well, then they just called him Bob for short.
Yeah, I guess we just called him Bob. So I don't know.
But he had boobs.
I don't know. I never saw Bob.
No, he did.
Okay.
Those guys
How do you know that?
Huh? Well, it was there were plenty of guys in the... Okay, yeah. And to be honest with you, 2 of your Marines came by and they were all sweaty.
Drenched in sweat. Where were you guys? We just got free blowjobs. This was literally like 3 minutes later, too. I was like, what?
All sweaty.
Yeah.
I was like, do you guys still have your wallets?
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah,
they didn't know. So that doesn't make them gay, right?
No, I would say no.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you go, that's a good question. So if you unknowingly get a blowjob from a dude,
I don't think that makes you gay.
But if you unknowingly give a blowjob, then you're gay.
Well, I think you would know. You're like, I didn't know I was doing that. Thought I was eating a hot dog.
Yeah, I definitely think that you're gay if you're giving blowjobs.
At least 90%.
Yeah. I mean, I think, here's a good question. Are you forever gay?
I don't think you can really
you can't turn it back.
You can not be active.
You turn back time like Cher.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the authority on these things. So
it just puzzles me. I think it's a question for our listeners to answer. Anyway, so all right. So, anyways, we were there in Hawaii. Didn't see too much of each other, to be honest. I mean,
no, we got together in that 3 years or so. 5 or 6 times, 10 times maybe.
Yeah, but it was, still, it's pretty strange. You both get stationed there. Then afterwards, we never really lost contact.
There was one event that I want to kind of revisit that happened when we were in Hawaii and I was hanging out with you, and we were at Tony and Kathy's house, and it was my probably 20th birthday.
Okay.
And I was drinking Yukon Jack, and I went in and used the bathroom.
Oh. Yes, your life was changed forever. It literally
still affects me to this very day.
Changed forever.
Forever changed. Mm-hmm. And I went into the bathroom, and I took a leak, and I walked out, and Kathy comes out of the bathroom. Then she goes into the bathroom shortly after me, comes out a few minutes later, and chews my ass for leaving the toilet seat up. And to this day, after that ass chewing, and apparently she was joking, but I took it pretty serious. I still always put the toilet seat down. Oh, most of the time.
She wasn't joking.
Yeah. Well, she might have not been legitimately pissed.
No. Probably wasn't pissed, but
wanted me to put the seat down.
Yeah.
But here's the question that I have. So anyway, so I always put the seat down now. But I've kind of why is it because of
traumatic experience? Is that why you do it now?
Well, it just shocked me. I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. Okay, no problem. So, but my question to the audience or whatever.
I can already answer this question for you, but go ahead.
Why is it that men have to put the seat down? Why can't women put the seat up when they're done? If they don't want us to pee on it, why don't they put it up?
This is an age-old question, right?
Yeah, why do we have to be the ones to always put
We could either go with science or we go with the nature of, do you still want to get ass? Right? Like, if you still want to get booty, you'll put the seat down, right? Because they control that key like they always have. Now... Or if we don't want to do that and say that we're not subservient to that, right, to that idea, then we can just say it's gravity. Gravity is, just gravity. It's the nature of gravity. He's got to be in the down position. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can here.
So every time I go in the bathroom now, I have to lift the seat up.
Yeah, it's more work.
And pee, and then I have to put it back down.
Yeah, see, it's
Whereas
easier if it would just be a
girl to just pop, and gravity does its thing, slams down. So it's a little bit less work. Or if they just don't.
And then it's an even relationship because then you have to go in and lift it up. So, right? Because they don't have to push it back up.
Because I could just kind of pop it.
I don't know. Well, but then it's an even relationship. If they have to put it down and you have to put it up, I like this. It isn't going to fly. Women outnumber me in my house.
It ain't gonna work.
All right. But that forever traumatized you?
Well, it didn't traumatize me, but it did influence who I am today. The guy who always puts the seat down. If I'm known for nothing else, I want to be known for that.
On your tombstone.
On my headstone, yeah.
That's a good idea. So then after that, we, what else? We lived in,
You got out of the Army and moved to Oklahoma for a couple of years, and I got out.
So like a year.
Yeah, I don't know how long.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
I got out because I got out about a year after you did, because my enlistment was longer, and then I was in South Dakota for a while, and then you decided you wanted to come up to South Dakota, so I came down to Oklahoma and got you, and we convoyed up to South Dakota, and we were there for
maybe 4 months.
No, it was longer than that. 6 months maybe.
Yeah, because we went to that school.
Yeah,
you talked me into joining the National Guard.
A year. Yeah, I talked you into joining the Guard. You did
into a suicide squad, basically.
Yeah, there were some good-looking girls in our.
There were.
Team, though.
There were.
Which was a huge distraction.
But it was fun.
Yeah. And then we said to hell with the Guard, and I said to hell with school. And I had actually recently, I had just been offered a scholarship, an art scholarship, to Black Hill State.
Right.
And I said to hell with all of it, and we packed our shit and moved to Oregon on like a whim.
It was good though.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great decision. You know, and for I thought it was.
Yeah.
Spent a couple of years out there, and then you moved here, and then I don't know, 6 months after you moved here, I came down. And
we got to talk about in Oregon how we lived.
We had, I had, before you came up, I had this apartment that I was renting, and I used the term apartment loosely. It was
remember, I lived there twice.
Oh, yeah, the first time we lived with there was 5 of us, with Chris and Andy and Dave.
Yeah, let's don't say their last name because I don't know if they, but yeah.
There were 5 of us, lived in a 2-bedroom townhouse apartment.
But we had a bedroom.
You and I shared the small room.
Because that asshole had the big room to himself.
We had 2 little cots
that were made of
that we bought at Sam's Club for like $40, and we had to put cardboard between the springs and the mattress so we wouldn't.
We bought them at Fred Miller. Wasn't that the name of that place? Or is that where we bought the Fred Meyer? That's where we bought the foam.
We bought those in Rapid City.
That's right, but we had bought the foam at Fred Meyer.
Extra foam.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. But anyways, we literally.
Can you believe that asshole had that giant room to himself?
So everything I owned fit in the back of my Jeep. Everything you owned fit in the back of your little
He's not
Fiesta.
An asshole. He was then.
Well, that was kind of an asshole-ish thing, but he as a person is a cool dude, and I still talk to him.
Okay.
And I like Andy, and he's a good guy, and he's actually turned out to be a hell of a musician.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But that was a dickish thing to do. I'll tell him that it's face to face if I saw him anyways.
And he'd probably be like, yeah, you're right.
You're right. Yeah.
He was like 20 or 21. You know? I mean, you don't think about that kind of stuff when you're that young. And then Chris and Dave slept. Dave slept on the couch down in the living room, and Chris slept on the floor.
For some reason, I pictured Dave sleeping up on the back of a couch.
It was a love seat.
That's right.
And Dave was the tallest one of the 5 of us, and he was sleeping on the love seat. And then we had in the living room a drum set and a keyboard and a bunch of guitar equipment and a PA system.
Yeah, there was a shit ton of stuff in that house.
Well, for 5 people, it really wasn't anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for but where Chris would sleep. It was like he would unroll his little bedroll and camp out.
And go camping every night on the living room floor, and then he would roll it up and shove it in the closet, the coat closet under the stairs. Yeah.
Chris was an interesting fellow. Whenever you think about it, like he could go from 0 to 10 over something that would be, you'd be like, why are you so mad about that? Well, that's nothing. But then it'd be other stuff. You'd be like, oh, that's no big deal. You'd be like, fuck, I'd be mad about that. Yeah.
Chris was probably one of the most genuine people I've ever met. And that's why I became such good friends with him. I don't know if you know this, but I went out to where he lives now.
Yeah.
And visited him a few years ago.
Where does he live?
Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was just really cool, because we hadn't seen each other in I don't know, over 10 years, probably 15 years.
Does he have family and stuff?
No, he was married at the time. I don't think he's married anymore. I haven't talked to him.
Is that whole family spread out now?
They are spread out a little bit now, yeah. So, but they're all doing well. And
they lived with a pack of wild dogs when we met them.
Yeah, well, they weren't wild.
No, they weren't wild, but they were giant wolves.
They were half wolf and half Malamute husky. They were
gigantic,
massive dogs.
And you had to walk into it's like you're walking into a pack of wolves.
And they would literally come charging through the snow at you, just like out of a movie, and jump on you and start wrestling with you. And the first time it happened to me, it scared the crap out of me. But
I'm gonna be eaten.
I mean, those dogs were tough. You have your snow gloves on, and they'd come and tackle me, and I'd just punch them as hard as I could, and they just thought it was fun. It was pretty cool.
So we lived there, and then I moved away for a short period of time,
8 or 9 months.
Yeah. And then I moved back
to Oregon.
And we moved into.
Well, in that time, I had moved.
Yeah. I thought. You moved from there, but you had your own little place.
I had my own little place that you moved into.
I thought you lived somewhere else.
No. I went out of the townhouse into the
garage apartment?
The garage apartment.
I thought you lived at a place where, or no, this was after I left again. Okay. That was after you got Herc.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right, that's right. All right.
And then...
so we moved into a garage apartment.
Well, I rented this apartment that was... And like I said, I used the term apartment loosely. It was a 1-car detached garage that had this tiny little addition on the back that had room for so the bathroom had a sliding door. It had a hot water tank in it, a toilet, and a stand-up shower, and that was it. No sink.
You could shower on the toilet, really.
You could literally, legitimately. If you sat down to take a dump, your knees were touching the shower curtain. And then you go into the kitchen, and there's no kitchen counter. There's a sink with a little area beside it for your dishes and stuff, a couple of shelves, a stove, and a fridge. And then this other little room that was supposed to be like a bedroom, but there was not enough room in there for a bed.
It was like a wasn't there a washer and dryer? No, there wasn't a washer. We would go to the laundromat and play video games. Yeah, that's right. But that's kind of where just you kept stuff.
Yeah, we just stored some stuff in there.
Yeah.
But then the main living area, which was about not much bigger than this room.
Yeah.
We had one of those cots that you slept on, and I had that couch that had no
if frame. You tried to sit on it, you just fall on the floor.
It was made out of foam covered in fabric. There was no frame. So if you leaned on the armrest, it would just collapse over. But you could flop it out into a bed, and I slept on that. And then we had a wall of guitar cabinets and PA stuff. And
a drum set.
And a little table. And
we had a table?
A little one, yeah. I may have gotten rid of it before you got there. I don't know, to make room. I think we had a little table. When I lived there by myself, I had a little table.
Had an entertainment center.
A little, an entertainment center, a little 24-inch TV, some VCR tapes, and cable TV, which was cool. It was free. And that was I really enjoyed that time.
That was a good time. That definitely was a good time. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Probably don't need to go into
we won't go into detail about those.
Because
but and we'll just say that there was women involved with our fun, so it didn't just sound like we're We had a ton of fun.
Yeah. There was fighting fucking
That'd be like
going on. It was just the two of us, but
it'd be like incest.
Yeah. No, it was
all right.
It was cool.
It was a good time. Then moved back here. Then you moved here.
Then I came down 6 months or so after you did. And then we lived together for a while in Veneta, and then we just kind of parted ways, and we kind of gone back and forth.
And now we still only live, what, how many miles apart?
I'm trying to remember
4?
What street we're on. Yeah, 4 or 5 miles. Yeah.
So pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty good run.
Right, yeah.
I see you like once every 6 months.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
now. But, family time, everything, and you're doing, and this is the great segue into what you're doing right now. So you're shooting competitively. Go ahead and, plug everything. Tell everybody what you're doing, and then we'll get into talking about it.
Okay. I am doing about a gazillion things. I'm still in the Army. After I got out of the Marines, when I kind of got settled in Oklahoma, I joined the National Guard again. And I'm still in. I'm about 2 years and 9 months, 4 days, 36 or 22 hours, whatever. Anyways, I'm coming up on retirement, and I'm counting down, if you can't tell.
It's so crazy to hear that word, retirement.
Yeah. So I'm still in the National Guard. I also am doing some work for the family court system, just a little bit here and there. I was doing a lot of it for a while, but I've chilled out on that because I have a new project, or a new job, which I'm very, very, very excited about. And that's with Rise Armament. And they're a local firearms manufacturer, and firearms, or AR-15s is what they do.
Okay.
And they manufacture parts and then full guns as well. And I've been shooting their guns in competition for a couple of years. I approached them about 2 months ago with an idea, just some stuff that I saw where I felt like I could really help them as a company. They were like, yes, that's an ingenious idea. They created a position for me, and now I am their product specialist is the title that we came up with. And basically that means that I know their products inside and out. And because of my background in law enforcement, my background in the military, and my background as a competitive shooter, I speak the language of all of their end users. And I'm out there in the community. I'm in the shooting community. I'm doing stuff with the Army. I'm interacting with the law enforcement guys all the time. I'm shooting competition every weekend just about. So I'm really seeing what people are doing and what they're using and what they're wanting and what they're asking for. And man, I really wish this, or hey, Garrett, that gun is awesome. That's really cool. But what about this? And so new product development, testing, and evaluation is a huge part of my job. A liaison with law enforcement and military personnel. It's a big, long list of duties, and it's all stuff that is really exciting to me, and I'm really, really pumped about this new job. And I think that I'm really going to be able to contribute to the company, and I'm going to help take Rise Armament to the next level. And
that's good.
Yeah, I've been there just a week. And we've already got a bunch of new projects in the works. So
here's their platforms over here, right?
Yeah. Those are some of them. I believe it's the 315 is the one that I shoot, which I'll get it out here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Show everybody. That one, the 315C. I have a modified version of that, which my version of it is going to be hopefully out first part of next year, and it's going to look basically like that. The color scheme is whatever the customer wants, but the internals on mine are a little bit different. And I don't want to,
Yeah. You don't need to go into.
I don't want to, non-disclosure agreements and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how far.
That magazine looks long.
It's a 30-round mag.
Oh, for some reason it looks different.
No, it's just standard.
Maybe just because of the little
30-round. Yeah, the little red on the bottom. But we do our own in-house Cerakoting there, and the guy that does our Cerakoting is really, really good.
What's Cerakoting? Is that just the
Cerakote? It's just the coloring.
Like paint.
Yeah, it's like paint.
But it's just tough
paint for guns. Yeah.
Okay.
And you put it on and you bake it, and it's really, really tough.
So when I do those running guns, I always hope that, because they always give away a trigger there.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh, I'm hoping that I win that trigger, right? Like,
what kind of trigger do you have now?
I got that one, that 2-stage Rock River.
Oh no, I'll get you a better one.
I always I always hope I'm like, oh, come on, I want to get that one trigger.
We'll get something figured out, and I'll we'll get you hooked up with a better trigger one way or another. And I don't want to make any promises, especially not where everybody else can hear it, but especially not one that I can deliver on.
Yeah.
But no, we just released a new trigger based on input from myself and Dylan Easley, who's a fantastic 3-gun shooter. I don't know that I've ever beat Dylan in a match. Every once in a while, I'll edge him on a stage here and there.
Right.
There may be one match somewhere a couple years ago or whatever where he broke a gun or something, and I might have beat him, but he's really, really good.
So let's talk about that a little. Talk about like 3-gun and stuff, and you can show your stuff. And
so that's another thing that I'm doing. I'm shooting competitively on the national level 3-gun competition, and I'm also the match director for the local 3-gun match. I have a match that I do every couple of months. All the proceeds, all the profit goes to benefit the Wounded Veterans of Oklahoma, nonprofit organization, and we've had some pretty good success with it. Our next match is August 19th.
August 19th.
Yep, I'm going to keep it small. It's going to be only 4 stages. Usually we do 5 or 6, and I design most of the stages. My friend Damien helps me with some of the other stages. I try to include Damien as much as possible because he's part of the team, and I really respect him, and he does a really good job designing stages. But this one is just going to be all 4 stages, all 3 Gun Nation classifier stages.
Okay.
And if your classifiers is how 3 Gun Nation quantifies your skill versus other shooters.
So kind of universalizes it.
It universalizes it.
Right.
Like, so when I set up these classifier stages, there's clubs all over the country that are setting up the exact same stages.
Okay.
Not necessarily on the same weekend or whatever, but
sure.
throughout the year. And everybody shoots it. They turn in their scores to 3 Gun Nation, and that's how you determine your classification. Like in USPSA, they have a D, C, B, A, and then they have Master and Grandmaster. In 3 Gun Nation, they use amateur, marksman, high marksman, expert, semi-pro, and pro. The percentages are the same. Like pro is a 95 and up. Semi-pro is a 85 to 95. Same thing as a master in USPSA.
So, and it's all based on time, correct?
Yeah, time plus penalties.
Okay.
Yep. And then there's and so we use the 3 Gun Nation scoring at our club. Other clubs have their own scoring system. Some of them use USPSA multi-gun rules. There's the United Multi-Gun League is something new that's coming out. That's probably going to be a competitor for 3 Gun Nation. I don't know much about it. I'm real comfortable with 3 Gun Nation. I know the rules. I know all the people in charge of 3 Gun Nation. I go and work some of their major matches. We're going to stick with 3 Gun Nation because they've been really good to me. So, but anyways, so I started shooting. When I got back from Afghanistan, and you can testify to this, I was kind of lost there for a while.
Sure.
I was a little out of it. Well, you remember the time I went running into the street with my AR-15 and my boxers and nothing else.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's probably pretty common for a lot of guys, right?
I think so. But so I really got into competitive shooting, and then probably I don't know. It's been almost 3 years ago. I just decided, I was like, man, I don't have any goals that I'm working towards. So I am going to become nationally ranked and recognized as a competitive shooter. That is my goal. It's not really a quantifiable goal, but that's my goal.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that's always kind of between both of us. You more so in even now, but we've always had goals, right? Like everything we've always had set to achieve a goal, and for the most part have achieved those goals.
Yeah.
I mean,
to one degree or another.
Right. And so
we haven't just utterly failed at anything.
No. Yeah. And so we both in our own way have achieved those goals. I don't have any type of, now like with the daughter, it's kind of a different thing. Like my whole focus, and there was a catalyst to that where
you're
it's
still raising a daughter.
Right.
Your goal is to be successful raising your daughter.
Sure, and that's it.
Successful at that.
But so you've always been goal oriented, and so whenever you found this, it was like,
well, it's a natural fit.
But you were doing some other things prior to that. You were making gear, and you're doing, which is you still make gear.
Well, I haven't not as much in a long time. All my sewing stuff is in storage right now.
Okay.
Actually, well, never mind. I probably shouldn't talk about that. The gear might come back.
Okay. All right. Good enough.
We're just gonna say that.
All right. Good. All right.
So I don't know. It's been talked
about. I mean, anyways, if you want to plug it, you can. I mean, if you.
No, I can't.
Okay. All right. Shouldn't. Okay. Good.
So,
But anyway, so you've started this, and with it? Yeah, 2 years. You started to really.
Yeah, probably towards the end of last year, I kind of started to gain some recognition.
Mm-hmm.
This year, 2017 was going to be my breakout year, and I've been shooting better than I've ever shot in my life. I've been shooting really, really well.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know what is going on. Somebody put a hex on me. Every major match I've shot this year, I've had some sort of catastrophic equipment failure.
Really?
Yes. So 2 weeks ago, I went to shoot for the gold.
Uh-huh.
And that's a fast
And that's
match.
in Kansas City?
Yeah, that's in Kansas City. It's a cool match that Corinne Mosier and her husband and Dylan Easley and Brian Corey are all involved with, and they raise money for Special Olympics of Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really neat thing that they do, and the match is super fun. It's really fast stages. Very first stage, I was like, okay, I just got to get Nationals is in November. I don't really have any other major matches planned between now and then. Let me get one major with no malfunctions, please. No major malfunctions. You know, you're always going to have a little bit here and there.
Sure.
But first stage, 30-second pistol malfunction. I was pissed. But I was like, well, okay, so now I'm just having fun. And I shot a couple of the best stages I've ever shot. There was one stage where I was just a couple seconds off Taryn Butler, who we've talked about him before.
Right. He's a great shooter.
Yep. Multi-time world champion. So I'm shooting better than I ever have. I've just kind of been cursed. So my rankings aren't quite where I'd like them to be this year. I'm sitting in like 50-somethingth in the regional series. I'm way down in the club series, but I haven't shot very many club matches. Actually, I haven't shot any club matches that have been turned into 3-Gun Nation. So I'm sitting kind of low in the club series, but it doesn't matter. I've already got my invite to Nationals, so I'm good.
Okay.
Which is Nationals is by invitation. So anyways, so I decided, okay, I want to be nationally ranked.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was shooting IDPA. And so an IDPA is fun, but we've shot some IDPA matches. So, you know,
they're fun.
It's fun, but for me, it just wasn't really there. And I kept looking at 3-gun. I was like, screw that. I don't want to learn the shotgun.
I think that's probably what runs a lot of people.
Most people off. Yeah.
Like, I think it's the idea of having to acquire another, you know, somewhat expensive piece of equipment.
Well, and to build the skill set.
And then to build, and then you gotta, you know, you gotta be able to purchase the ammo, have the weaponry, and then learn a completely other platform as opposed to pistol and your combat rifle are kind of,
and especially guys who've been in the military,
right? It's like second nature, right?
We understand it.
Mm-hmm.
The shotgun is, and I would never even give 3-gun a second glance. I never even thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, crap. I really want to challenge. I want to do something with a rifle. These practical rifle matches, there's nothing at the national level, and it's really not challenging me. So I guess I'll watch some 3-gun videos and think about it. And I watched a couple of 3-gun videos, and I saw what these guys were doing with shotgun, and I was like, holy shit. It was really intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, okay. So I went ahead and bought a shotgun and started training, watching YouTube videos. Trained at the house a little bit, and it was December 28th of 2014, so 2.5 years ago, shot my first 3-gun match. I got disqualified. But the match director, Brian Corey, who has become a very good friend of mine now, great guy too, fantastic person, sent me a separate set of scores, whereas if I hadn't got disqualified, because I got disqualified on the last stage, so I still had a time that he recorded and everything, and I would have taken like 17th out of like 40 on my first match. And I was like, oh, cool. So that was real motivating, and I just kept going and kept working and picked up some sponsors, and now I've got several sponsors, which I'll talk about here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just loving it. I'm ate up with it. This morning, I mean, I'm dry firing every day, just about every day at the house. I've got a little dry fire course set up in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really love it.
So, like a quick rundown of if somebody wanted to get into it, because a lot of our listeners are like run and gun guys, right?
Right.
And they're competitive. A lot of the guys that listen to this are competitive, very competitive people, and some of which maybe some don't like to run. I don't know. Some might to just want to shoot a lot more, because I mean, like in a match, to be honest with you, I like to shoot more, but I also like to push my body to the limit, right? And so that's why I like to do the death races, right? But what like a quick rundown of like what you would need to get started with it, or you're going to show that kind of stuff here in a minute.
Well, I'm going to show some of my gear. I brought it just to kind of show, as I didn't realize that this thing was on YouTube, so I was like, hey, I'm going to bring my gear so we can talk about it. And now it's on YouTube. That's even better. Cool. I'll tell you this, for now, if you want to get started in 3-gun, show up, come to one of my matches, and bring eye protection at your protection.
How much ammo?
I'll provide you with what you need. Now, if 10 people show up, I'm kind of screwed.
Hey, we heard the Spearhead transmission.
Do me a favor. Bring some birdshot, 50, 60 rounds. Bring 50 or 60 rounds of 9mm and 100 rounds of rifle, 223, if you can. I can't be giving all my ammo away, so yeah. Maybe send me a PM on Facebook and be like, hey, I want to come out.
Yeah, and it's possible. Yeah,
because. Fortunately, Wounded Veterans of Oklahoma is one of my sponsors, and we get a little bit of ammo from time to time. And I like to use that ammo not for myself. I like to use it for other people. Yeah. And you don't have to be a veteran.
And who knows, you might, if it's like crack, they're going to be addicted, and they're going to be supporting your sport all the way around. So
you shoot one match.
So you're like a drug dealer. I'll give you a little taste.
Yeah,
here's just a little taste. Your first one's free.
Yeah. Just come out. And I promise you'll have fun.
That's August 19th.
Yeah.
Right.
And the August 19th one will be a really good one to start.
That's in Tulsa, right?
It's in Tulsa. It's at U.S. Shooting Academy in Tulsa. And I make announcements on my Facebook page. We also have a 3-gun at USSA page on Facebook. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, we were just talking about what you'd need to get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So eventually, obviously, you're going to need a pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun. You're going to need a couple of mags for your rifle and pistol, probably at least 3 pistol mags, probably 4, 3 or 4 rifle mags. A lot of guys, depending on what division you're shooting, run the 40-round P mags. I like to use the 60-round Surefire mags for a lot of stages just because I don't like changing mags.
60 round?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, I'll show you one here in a minute.
Oh, we'll see them.
I've got a bunch of. I always carry way more crap than I need.
Yeah, dude.
I like that.
So you're kind of like me. I think we're a lot alike in the senses that, and I'm bad about this in the fact that like I'll be like, oh, we've always been this way though, and it even goes back to like musical gear, equipment, whatever. Like we'll be like, all right, if there's gonna give us an edge somewhere, like if so, like for me. Lack of talent in playing music, I'd be like, all right, I got to find, make sure that my guitar plays just right. It's like exact action, it's everything. Like in this,
it's the same way in 3-gun.
So I don't know, like there are other people out there, like Nick, for instance, that guy, I mean, he says he does that, but whenever I see the stuff that he's running, I'm like, what? He doesn't even care to have an advantage. He's just like, I'll go out to the open sights, whatever I got to do, or you know what I mean? But for me, I'm like, if I can, I'll be like, all right, these socks might give me an edge, or something, you know what I mean?
I'm the same way. But and the difference between run and gun and 3-gun, and run and gun, you guys are trying to shave minutes off, right? Like I sure would like to shave 5 minutes off my run time or whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the shooting is scored half. And the run is scored half. So it's a balance because you don't want to.
What do you think in as far as times wise? Do you think in minutes? Do you think in seconds? What do you think?
Well, shoot times. If you're shooting a stage, if you can shoot a stage, I'm going to tell you this: if you can shoot a stage, if you can shoot all your stages in under 30 seconds, right? Yeah. And you don't DQ any stages, and you run fairly good, depending upon the race. Like if it's a 5K, then you might have to run, better.
Right.
You might have to really, really push it, right? Okay. A 10K, it's spread out a little bit more, but you're still going to have to push it. A 20K, then you got a little bit more leeway because a lot of times stragglers,
you just got to survive.
Basically, yes. If you survive,
if you're still
you may
place.
You
probably will.
And so, So yeah, that's kind of the thing. But
well,
yeah, you're definitely shooting as a big part of it. You don't want to show up to a stage. You don't get any rehearsal time. You don't get any prep time. You get up. They tell you the course of fire. If you've done your mental, as you're like, what I like to do is I like to think about what the stage is and visualize while I'm running up to it. Yeah. That doesn't happen after, like, usually my brain falls out by the 12th mile or whatever, and I'm just like, ugh. But I like to think about what I've read, right? Because you'll read the course of fire ahead of time, and then when you get there, they'll say, okay, you're gonna blah 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 blah. You have to engage this target, and you can't even see the targets for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. There are stages sometimes where they'll say that one, and they'll run you through, but you have to find it for the most part. And so if you clear everything in under 30 seconds, you're gonna do well. It doesn't mean you're gonna win, because there's a lot of guys. It's becoming more and more competitive as it's going on.
The reason I asked you what you measure your time in is because in 3-gun we're measuring time in tenths of seconds.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking for a tenth of a second. I'm looking to pick up a quarter second here. Mm-hmm. And that's where those fancy socks come in. That's socks.
Right.
Gain me a quarter second every stage over 8 stages. That's 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds can be the difference between
these fucking socks are amazing.
3 or 4 places. It can be at times. It's it's not normally like that, but it can be. But
and socks aren't a fancy word for anything that's got it's the things that you wear on your feet.
Socks that go in between your feet and your shoes.
Yeah. They help you. Yeah. Drastically.
But I do remember what I was going to say earlier. I was going to say the August 19th match would be a great match if you've never shot 3-gun to come out and start, because it's going to be classifier stages. They're much simpler. There's not a lot of movement because I don't want to set up a real complicated stage in the heat, and it's going to be and it's supposed to be hot. It's August in Oklahoma, so it's going to be hot. So the stages are much simpler. There's not a lot of movement.
Nick just said 3-gun socks.
Yeah. Ooh, marketing idea. $1 million idea right there. So we were talking about 3-gun gear.
And just like what people would need, but you basically just laid it out.
Magazines, a rifle, pistol, a shotgun, a belt, a holster. I'll see guys showing up just with pretty basic stuff, and then, or you've got me. I've probably got $1,000 into my belt.
Yeah,
I've got a custom made holster.
The belts are fascinating to me, because I'm always like, will shit fall off of those or what? What's going on with those?
No.
Let's see it.
I don't know what you can see on the camera, but this is my 3-gun belt. Right now I have 2 pistol mag pouches, 2 rifle mag pouches, and I have room for 5
just a little bit
for shot shell caddies right here. And the stuff just
right there.
Here. And the stuff I use the Safariland ELS system. The stuff just clips on and off like that. I can move it around. I've got a couple extras of these. I've got some extra rifle mag pouches. Let me grab one of my shot shells.
Here, hand me that. I'll look at that.
All right. So then I had Adam Weber with Weber Tactical make that holster for me, because I have a kind of a weird little thing on my gun.
Wow. What is this? What are these for?
They're for attaching gear.
Oh, where do you keep your shotgun bullets?
Well, that's shotgun bullets. I'll snap that down onto it. See how that works?
Will the shotgun bullets come out of this?
Yeah.
Like if you.
Oh no! If I'm running, no, those are great. Those are made by TACCOM. TACCOM sponsors Wounded Veterans of Oklahoma. They're one of our team sponsors, and they sent us those. I've been running them for about 1.5 years now, and I freaking love them. I don't ever have shells fall out. They release real smooth. With those caddies, with my setup, I can load 8 shotgun shells in under 3 seconds.
Where do you store your bananas? One of our listeners asks.
In my pants.
And then, I don't know, Nick asked, I want to run my Dacia 12G. I don't even know what he's saying. He can't type. He knows what I'm talking about. He just brought it up to shotgun bullets.
Yeah.
So the belts can be pretty expensive.
It can be. You don't have to get all that stuff. I mean, you're going to need a couple shot shell caddies. You're just going to. You can use nylon magazine pouches. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of mag changes in 3-gun normally. Pistol mag changes from time to time. If you do it right, though, magazine changes aren't going to make or break a 3-gun match like they will in USPSA or IDPA, especially IDPA or something like that. They can. I mean, I saw David Hill lose to Taron Butler by 3/100ths of a second in a match. That could have been anything. That's split times anything.
Bad socks, likely.
Bad socks. He probably should have had better socks on. He probably would have won that match. But that was actually shoot for the gold last year.
So if Nick runs if he shows up, he's got his AR, he's got his pistol, and then he's got his Dacia 12 gauge, his Sega 12 gauge is what it is.
He would be an open division.
He'd be okay.
I'm going to start doing a division at my matches, which is just called Run What You Brung. And I won't be able to turn that into 3-Gun Nation because that isn't an official division. But it's going to be a division at my match now for people who are like, well, what division should I be in? I've got this optic and this and blah, 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 blah. We're just going to stick in Run What You Brung. And then you just do whatever you want.
Okay.
It's like open division plus.
Right.
So if you wanted to bring more than 3 guns, if you wanted to bring
5 guns,
a pistol caliber carbine as well, and run it on certain stages, I don't care.
Okay.
Run what you brung.
Yeah, so
it's like a not for competition.
Right, but it'd bring you into it, kind of an introduction, let people get and see everybody else. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And we're starting to see that at more matches. The Run What You Brung thing, it's starting to kind of pop up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
I think at Old Ford they call it Gamer Division.
So what sponsors do you have? Like what
so right now I'm shooting for Wounded Veterans of Oklahoma is one of my titled sponsors, and under that sponsorship we have TACCOM, we have Gunfighter.
That's
Targets.
the people that made those shotguns.
TACCOM is who made those shot shell caddies. They also make a bunch of other stuff. They make some really cool rifle buffers. Why are you laughing?
Nick's commenting, "Bang with your wang."
Oh.
And he spelled "your" wrong.
Yeah.
He fixed it though.
Gunfighter Targets. Carl Schultz with Gunfighter Targets out of Wisconsin and sometimes Minnesota. He kind of goes back and forth. He's a great guy. He's become a really good friend. He's huge. He's huge supporter of the shooting sports.
Okay.
And he sponsors our team.
What's his name?
Carl Schultz with Gunfighter Targets.
Carl Schultz, Gunfighter Target.
I mean, if you guys have a run and gun event coming up and you need targets, hit Carl up. Tell him, hey, I'm friends with Garrett. He'll probably charge you double. No. He'll hook you up, though. And he may even come out to the event. He drove down all the way from Wisconsin to come to one of our events. So, one-day event. I mean, Carl's just an awesome, awesome dude.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Patriot Skins, Terry Dalton. They make these cool little stickers that go on magazines. Trying to think of some of the others. I just had a New Jersey made, and I just had the list of all of them. I'm probably going to end up losing a couple sponsors now. Reaper Solutions out of Arkansas. They do lubrication and cleaning stuff for firearms. Seal One, they do the same thing. Integrity Customs, they're out of Tulsa, and they don't sponsor the team directly, but they do sponsor Wounded Veterans of Oklahoma, and the team gets a little bit of that.
Okay.
And then personally, I'm sponsored by 2A Shooting Center in Tulsa, which is where it's an indoor range in Tulsa, if you're familiar with 2A.
I've been there.
I send a lot of people up there to buy guns because they have such an awesome selection, especially pistols, and they're all really good guys. I mean, Eric, the guy that runs the place, is a IDPA national champion. I mean, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
You'd never know it by talking to him. Or just by meeting him, you'd be like, oh, yeah, Eric, cool. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, he's an IDPA world champion. Really? And then you see him shoot, and you're like, holy smokes. So go up there and talk to Eric. He's very, very knowledgeable. Kai works up there, and Kai is one of the nicest, most genuine people you'll ever meet. Kai's super cool. In fact, I just was up there earlier today. I bought another pistol. Like I needed another pistol. I'll show it to you in a minute.
Who else are you sponsored by?
Well, Rise Armament, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course, right.
You know, they actually sponsor the WVO team, which is kind of how I became affiliated with them. But now I have an individual sponsorship through them. The Defensive Shooting Academy of Tulsa, who I teach for, obviously sponsors me. But Marshall and Eric is also one of our instructors, Lance Jensen and Jeremy and Travis and Kai. And Marshall has put together just this amazing team of instructors.
Bunch of solid dudes.
Yeah, some of the best in the world. And then when he asked me to be an instructor, I was just like, "Are you serious? I don't know that I'm worthy." He's like, "No, you're worthy." And
it's
now
cool
I've taken the lead instructor position on a couple of courses, and I'm actually writing courses now for him.
That's great.
Yeah, and then I'm sorry. What were
no,
you
I was just gonna say it's cool that we like here in Oklahoma. It's like we have it's like a you know how like there's certain areas of the country, but here we have like a I don't even know how to say it, like, you know how like there'd be good musicians in certain areas.
Yeah, like Nashville's music.
Yeah, right.
Tulsa has a big shooting community.
Yeah.
Phil Strader used to live here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was the president of USPSA for years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of world-class shooters in this area, just in Oklahoma in general. Jesse Tischhauser lives not too far away, you know.
Right. I mean, just solid. Yeah.
But then I'm also sponsored by Timber Creek Outdoors, and what they make is there's a little bit of overlap with Rise Armament with some of their products, but not a lot. Timber Creek makes really cool grips and just accessories for AR-15s.
Okay.
They also make a forearm, which I'll show you here in a minute. It's different than anything that we do at Rise, so the overlap really isn't an issue. Should have brought one of my jerseys.
No,
I use everybody's stuff. I just don't want to forget anybody.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's mostly that's.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no,
that's a lot. That's a substantial amount in a short period of time that you've acquired, and that must speak to your skill level, you know, and you know, just by people want to jump on board and say, look, use our stuff.
Yeah, use our stuff and be cool and don't be a jerk, and you can continue to use our stuff at a, you know, we appreciate it. Thanks, and I really appreciate it because it has made my life a lot easier, and I've got really good quality stuff that I get to use now. You know,
good.
Yeah. So
let's do this.
Okay.
So before we can get into the show deeper, but let's look at your gear. Let's look at some of the gear, and we'll show people on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on podcast, you can always go to YouTube and check it out. Just Spearhead Transmission, and you'll be able to see. We've got I don't know, 50 or so videos. I don't know. That's probably too many. I don't know. But so you'll be able to if you pause your podcast, you can go to YouTube and look at this gear we're about to show. So,
and I do have a couple things that might interest the run and gun crowd that I want to.
Yeah, that's
specifically brought to show Mike
and give to me. He's gonna give all this stuff to me, and I'm gonna get to keep it.
Give to him to keep for about 10 seconds,
and
then give it back. So.
All right, let's look at it.
Here we go.
All right, so
do you want to just start with the one that intimidates everybody? The shotgun.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So this is my
dude. You can't even get all that in
musket.
Camera.
It is a Mark Roth custom Benelli M2.
It's like my penis. You can't fit all of it in the camera.
Yeah. It has a 13-round tube on it.
Uh-huh.
I bought this shotgun from Rob Romero, who's one of the top 3 gunners in the world. I said, "Hey, Rob, remember that red shotgun you won in Texas?" He's like, "The red one?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that." I was like, "What'd you ever do with it?" "Well, it's not really the color red I like, so I don't shoot it."
Really? Let me.
And I was like, "Well, man, you want to sell it?" "Yeah, sure." So he gave me a smoking deal on it, and I am in love with it. The problem is now I see what he was talking about, because it's really not red; it's more of a pink.
Yeah, that's all right.
And when I got it, I was like, "Oh, I got to do something about this." And then I just decided, you know what? Who cares? And so
who cares?
I named it Big Pink, and I love it. And I shoot a pink shotgun. So.
Good.
It is
It's not that heavy considering.
No, it's light. The Benelli M2 is probably the most prolific shotgun in 3-gun. Probably, I would say, half of the people out there are running that gun.
What's this for?
That is called a match saver. I have some dummy shot shells in my bag. I can show you how it works real quick.
Okay, I'm trying to show it.
I wish Cody Allenbaugh was here. He's probably nerding out right now. He's like, "Dang it, I should have gone on the show."
He was supposed to be.
Yeah. So everybody can see that this is my shotgun shell. You know how I know that? Because it says dummy on it.
Okay, perfect.
It also means it's a dummy round. Here, let me see that. Oh, God. We're going to knock something over. Okay, so the way this thing works, So when your shotgun runs dry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right,
so your shotgun runs empty, and you need one more shot, or you want to do a reload. You grab the. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. And so for everybody that's listening, there's this keeper device, like a little plastic holder right in front of the chamber of the shotgun, and there's a shotgun shell sitting in that keeper.
And you just take your support hand back, and you grab it, and you push it into the chamber like that, and hit the button.
Perfect.
You can actually do it pretty quick.
And that's just so.
So that's just when you practice it, you can actually be. I don't have it shouldered properly, but you can actually be pretty quick about it.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
That's my shotgun. It's more than what you.
How many shells does it hold?
13
bullets. I mean,
bullets. 13 plus 1. And I put.
So is that legal?
Well, you start with 9 for the division I shoot, which is practical division or TAC ops. I start with 9 rounds in the gun. You mean is it like legal or legal for the sport?
It's legal, right? Is
it
legal?
Yeah, there's no magazine.
Like I care. I'm messing with you.
In California, I don't think it is.
Oh.
Who cares about those weirdos? I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot.
We love all the California listeners.
A lot of friends that live in California. So this is my rifle.
Move it over to the.
Okay, I'm gonna clear it.
Okay. Good man.
Okay, everybody can see it's empty.
Dang, dude. Can I have that?
I'll let you hold it for a minute. I should have cleared the shotgun. I cleared it, but I should have showed everybody that it was clear.
That's fine.
So, but this is my rifle. This is the 315.
There are many like it, but this one is yours.
Actually, there is not a single other one just like this one. This one is my special rifle that I built. This is if you look, the 315 rifle that's on the Rise Armament website. This is the same on the outside. The inside is a little bit different. I do have a different stock on mine. I have a Cold Component stock on there, which is a fancy stock.
What does that do, the stock?
It's just got 6 different methods of adjustment. So you can get it. I mean, you can cant it. You can rotate this around. You can adjust it for length. You can move the cheek riser around. I actually took my heat gun to my cheek riser and smashed it down a little bit. I have a 1:6. Right now I'm running a US Optics 1:6 power scope with a TMR style reticle in it, which is a milling type reticle, because as an Army sniper, that's just what I'm used to. A lot of guys like BDCs and other types of reticles. I prefer a mill type reticle.
So the ATF and CIA have just bombed our show. They turned you into a ghost. Your camera is now, you look like a ghost, but you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah,
I'm still kicking.
So let me, if you don't mind, I want to show the people on my side, because you're fine.
Yeah.
It's just they can't see it as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, here you go.
Actually, it's just my excuse to grab it.
So I have. It's got a little bit of weight.
It's not too bad though.
That's a little heavier optic, and that stock has a little bit of weight to it, but I don't mind because it balances out real well. It has a 16-inch 416 stainless steel barrel. It's actually my barrel design. With a mid-length gas system. The Rise Armament comp. I've got some 45-degree offset sights, which Mike just flipped up. I'm running an adjustable gas block on it with a Rubber City Armory low-mass carrier and a TACCOM buffer system.
So you had the night sight in there.
Yeah, I have the large aperture open because I'm never going to shoot that sight past about 15 yards.
Oh, okay.
So that's just for, like, if I have my magnification all the way at 6 to engage long-range targets.
And then you have to transition.
There's a close-range target immediately, and I don't have time to throw it back to 1 power. I just can't the gun at 45 degrees and shoot it.
And you're right-handed, so then it's more like...
Yeah, for you, you'd have to mount it on the other side. Yeah. You would just have to mount it on the other side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. For a left-handed weirdo.
It'd be weird if I did it this way.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
It feels comfortable like that. Yeah. This way.
So, and then I have some Timber Creek parts on there as well. Like I said, I love the Timber Creek stuff. They just make really neat stuff. Like magazine releases and QD points for the QD mounts. Little rail sections.
How long is this barrel?
16 inches.
This gun seems short though. For some reason.
That's because there's a 15-inch rail on there.
And then the comp at the front, so it's a long comp But it feels like, I don't know why it feels smaller than.
No, it's 16-inch barrel. Now we also have a version with an 18.8-inch barrel with a rifle length gas system.
Can I look through the reticle?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Which does have it's a rifle length gas system, so the recoil is going to be a little softer, but it's also a little bit longer. The barrel weighs a little bit more. It's a little less maneuverable. I don't know that it's going to make or break anybody's match, but I wanted a 16-inch barrel. I asked Rise to do it, and they did it.
Oh, there we go.
And it's turned out to be a very successful barrel. I can hit targets. I've shot that thing out to 600 yards with no problems at all. None.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, that
scope is awesome.
The scope is awesome.
Yeah. The SWFA scopes, they bought out the super snipers. The little one on the front. And then they worked on the manufacturing process, and they are just, that scope's about $1,000, but it's on par with scopes that cost twice as much. I am very, very happy with that scope. I have a 1:8 US optics that I run sometimes as well. I don't like the reticle as much in it, so I've gone back to my 1:6 because it's faster at close range, because that circle that's in there is kind of like an EOTech. I just kind of frame the target in the circle when I'm shooting paper and stuff. And I just like the reticle a lot more just because I think in mils. It's just how my brain works. So that's my main rifle. Now let me get my backup rifle. And the reason I brought this backup rifle,
I want that one.
Well, just wait.
Okay. All right, I'm about to.
Is because this would actually be an excellent run and gun rifle as well. And it's almost identical, but there are some minor differences.
It's magical.
Yeah, it's also a 315.
I like this one too.
It's the same model. I have a different stock on it. I have a.
It's a lighter stock.
Yeah, it's the Mission First Tactical stock, which I love these stocks. They're really, really cool. I like them a lot more than the Magpul stocks personally. This has a Timber Creek form on it. This form is super light, super skeletonized. I like it. I don't know that I like it any better than the Rise. It's just different. It's got the same scope on it internally. It's the same. It has a different trigger.
It's much lighter.
Yeah, it is. It is noticeably lighter.
Oh, I like this one.
That's got the Rise Armament 535 trigger in it, which is their advanced performance trigger.
Yeah.
The other gun has the 434, which is the brand new trigger they just came out with. That's the one that Dylan and I consulted on.
Dude, can I have this one?
I knew you would want that one more when you saw it.
Yeah.
That gun, it's basically the same gun with just a few minor differences. That would be a fantastic run and gun.
This would be a fantastic run. I can already tell by the way it feels.
Yeah, just the weight of it is appropriate. It's camouflage in color, which you can get it any color you want. But
I want the pink one.
Okay, I can make you a pink one.
I want a hot pink though. I don't want it that silly pink like your shotgun.
No, that's only kind of half pink.
Yeah, that's
like
a pair of those.
You need to go all pink.
Yeah,
full pink.
That's how I like to go every time.
Yep. So that's that setup.
Dude, I love this.
The bad lever. Yeah, I really like those. Some people.
I like it because even you see this right here.
Even as a lefty, it's still
useful.
Yeah, gives you a bigger target when you're trying to send your bolt home, and yeah, it still works. You would probably want an ambi charging handle, but I put those little barricade braces on there, even though I only use a barricade maybe once every other match, but doesn't really hurt me.
What's
to have it
this
on
one
there.
for?
That honestly, the reason I have those on there is I have them in the same place on all my guns. It's an indexing point for my middle finger.
Okay.
So that I always get the same feel every time I grab the gun, and also when I'm zeroing and I'm at the range just gathering data, I can attach bipods to it.
And that's what you do right there.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly right. And I go thumb over bore, and point my index finger at what I'm shooting at, because I use what is called kinesthetic alignment, which means I take my body and I line it up with what I want to shoot. It's just like pointing at a doorknob.
Yeah.
Kinesthetic alignment.
Dude, I want this one. I'll give you my rifle. What else do I have to give you?
The problem is that one's set up almost, other than the forearm and the stock, it's set up identical to my other gun, and that's my backup 3-gun rifle. It's got the same scope on it.
I want the scope too, so I've got to figure out what I can give you here. I'll give you my truck.
Wait, the Nissan?
Yeah.
The one that's all messed up?
You can have that and my rifle. And I'll think of other stuff.
Think about it.
I got to think of other things. My guitar.
Oh. Okay.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic. This would make a fantastic run and gun rifle, and that's the reason why I brought it, because there's really no reason for me to show off my backup rifle, but I thought you guys would enjoy.
No, yeah, I definitely do. I like the handguard on that one.
Yeah, I like both. I like the Rise Armament handguard a lot. I really like the way it feels, but I like this one too. You know, I'm friends with Jason and Tyler. I was in the Marines with Jason.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
you met Jason. We went
rock climbing together.
You know, so, and Jason's been, you know, he sends me stuff every once in a while, and I T&E it for him, and
I don't know what that means.
Test and evaluate. And he supports our match. You know, he'll send me a little box of stuff sometimes to give away at our match, and they're really good people, and I'm really proud to support them, even though with the handguard kind of in competition with Rise a little bit, but I think there's enough room on my shirt. Whenever
Rise Armament says you've got to, then then Timber Creek can sponsor me.
Okay,
I did take second place.
You did
in a premier national event.
Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, that's
20. It's 16 miles. Everybody says, "Oh, it's only 15," but the guy who took first has his little thing on his watch, and he's like,
"Nothing to sneeze at. You should be proud of that."
I am,
and I think it's a huge.
And Nick didn't beat me, so that's really what it was. Yeah, that was the main thing. Cool. So now you got pistols.
Well, yeah, but before I do that,
this is what you're going to show me, right?
I was telling you about this the other day on the phone.
This is
for run and gun, and this is a little kind of contraption that I kind of came up with for shooting supported.
I like it. I already can tell. I can already tell.
2 Gen 2 PMags.
Okay.
Coupled them together.
That's what it takes. It has to be Gen 2 PMags, right?
Yeah, because this won't work on the Gen 3s.
Okay.
And I also figured out the other day that this won't work on the original PMags.
Okay.
It has to be the Gen M2 MOEs, the MOEs, the Magpul original equipment ones. So you get 2 of these, you couple them together with a Magpul PMag coupler, and you get these mag pods, which you can get 3 of them for like $10. And you stick them on, and now you've got this really wide base to rest your rifle on. I know people aren't going to be able to see it if I put it on the table, but I'll just show you and you can testify to it. But you can see
level.
It's perfectly level. And you got 60 rounds. So
I like it.
I just thought this would be appropriate.
That's definitely a great idea.
Appropriate for run and gun, and I use it in 3-gun when I'm having to shoot at like 500 yards. Because in my division I can't put a bipod on my gun. So, anyways, I wanted to show that to you.
That's a great idea. I want to look at it while you're putting that away. So, guys, this is how I'm going to take first place next time. I'm going to hit that 500-yard shot.
Well, if you're shooting in the prone,
there's a few things that you will. I mean,
you know, you're not going to use it every stage. I use it maybe once every 4 matches, but I bring it to every match just in case.
I like the fact that it's right there. You can just put, it's pretty cool.
It's an efficient way to carry 60 rounds if you don't get to use it in the prone because they're coupled together. So, anyways, this is my primary competition pistol. It's empty.
You're gradually I think that I think that we're operating in an alternate universe now. I think that it's like Back to the Future right now. You know how his hand starts to disappear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
am I gone?
You're there. I don't know how to fix it.
Okay, well here, I'm going to hand you that pistol.
Okay.
There you go. So that they can see it. That's my primary competition gun. That is not appropriate for run and gun. It is very heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah. You can send the slide home if you want. Nope, that's a safety. You got to hit it with your off thumb, yeah. Really? So that is a Brazos Custom STI Edge 2011.
And so this is something that like advanced
Well,
or would it be something that anybody would, if you're getting into 3-gun, this would be something
brand new. That pistol's $2,800.
So it's a lot of money.
So I don't think.
Yeah, so it's not necessary if you want.
It's like the 3-gun socks.
Right.
Is it necessary? No. Is it going to give me an edge? Yes, because it's just very, very manageable.
And that's this.
It's
thumb.
Yeah, I put the thumb rest on there. You don't see that a lot in 3-gun. I was like, I'm going to try it out because I have seen a few people do it. More and more people are starting to do it.
And this,
yeah, that's my own modification.
Is that a safety?
Yeah, I spring-loaded the safety. I would never do that on a defensive gun that I was actually going to carry. But the safety, because in 3-gun, you're dumping guns in barrels.
Oh, and so it has to be unsafe when it goes in the barrel. Otherwise,
now,
you DQ.
Glock guys and M&P guys, yeah, well, you'll either go home or you get a 20-second penalty depending on what match you're at. So what I did is I made that thing spring-loaded, which the proper way to shoot a 19/2011 Pro or style gun is to rest your thumb on the safety. So just naturally, I made it spring-loaded so that I can just drop it in the bucket and not even think about it, and I know it's unsafe. It won't go to the you got to hold the safety down.
Oh, it goes back smooth whenever.
Yeah, it's only got an 8-pound recoil spring in it. I absolutely love this gun. It is a 2011, so you do have to keep it well lubed and well maintained and keep it clean. But I put a KKM barrel in it recently. God, this thing is so accurate. It's like I can't miss even if I'm trying.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, really accurate. I love this gun. The magazines hold 23 rounds, so I can get 23 plus 1 in the gun to start a stage.
Is it finicky? Like if it gets, so like you said, you got to keep it oiled. So like if it were to get dirty, it would be.
No, it runs if it gets dirty. They can be finicky.
Is it just a matter of tuning it and getting used to it?
Just taking care of it, and
so that's definitely not a good.
This would not be good for running gun. And here's the deal: if you want to get into 3-gun, do you have to own one of these? No, a Glock. There's guys winning with Glocks. Hunter Sykes, who's a really good probably one of the top. He's one of the elites. And he was one of my instructors in Army Sniper School too, which is pretty cool. I knew him before.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
But he shoots a Glock.
Like my Glock?
Well, no, it's a 34 and it's got some custom.
Oh, so it's just got the longer slide. And
yeah, but there's guys winning with Glocks. So do you need a 2011? No, you don't. Like we talked about earlier.
Right, our socks.
Yeah, it's like the socks.
Yeah.
But you go to a 3-gun match and you're going to see that probably over half the guys there, especially if you go to a major match, are all running some sort of 2011 gun. Whether it's STI or an SV or a Hayes custom, which makes really nice guns, or an Akai, which are also super nice. So they're a little out of my price range. The Hayes gun is like $5,500 or whatever.
Golly.
Worth every penny.
Right. It's the next level socks.
Yeah, it's a level above this.
And so that's pretty. Was that all you got? You got more?
I brought 2 more pistols.
Okay.
This one I'm going to just show you real quick. Just because you're going to think I'm ridiculous. But I just got this today.
This pistol is not going to just.
It's the exact same as my other one.
This doesn't make me think you're ridiculous. We've already passed that a long time ago.
Okay. But this is the exact same as my other gun that I just had out. I just haven't done all the custom work to it yet.
Nice.
I found a smoking deal on it. It was a $2,800 pistol with about $650 worth of mags, and I got it for less than half that. So
that's excellent.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
And you said you had one more?
On the rare occasion when I shoot open division,
they allow you to shoot laser guns or rail guns.
Yeah.
Your electromagnetic rail gun.
I shoot a space gun. That is an STI Matchmaster, which is an open division gun.
I have no idea. I mean, what I'm looking at here. It's the same, kind of.
It's very, very similar. It's got an optic on top, and it's got a ported barrel, and it's got a comp on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
So how? It's just a matter. That takes a little bit of getting used to.
It does take some getting used to, and I
feel like I'm less.
At first, you won't be as fast with it. It takes a minute to get used to it. When you get it down, they're very quick and they're super accurate.
I can't even find the red dot when I look at it.
Yeah, you gotta like go like you're looking for the front sight, and then that red dot will just appear.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Trying to find the front sight.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Because if you don't look like you're trying to find the front sight, you're like...
I got to work on your grip, man.
I'm just...
Okay. I was going to say that wrapping that finger around the trigger guard like that is
I don't know why.
Killing me.
You do it.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
This gun feels like it's trying to make me do that.
Well, I intentionally feel the front of that trigger guard, how it's got that little hook on it?
Yeah.
I intentionally did that with a Dremel tool to stop people, to stop your finger from sliding forward past that point. So it cuts into your finger, yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
That doesn't feel right.
I'll work on your grip one of these days. Or you should come take one of our classes.
Dude, that's strange. I gotta do that.
I did the same thing with the safety on that one as I did with my other one. Here, you can just hand it over here. I know you can.
Boy, that's a... Space guns are...
So that's
So that's what it takes, right?
Well, that's not necessarily what it takes. That's
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But if you just show up August 19th,
yep,
or send Garrett a
send me a PM on Facebook. Let me know your comment, and I'll tell you what to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Or just comment on my Facebook page or whatever. I have an Instagram thing too, but I don't really know how to use that yet, so don't go on there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on there and look at pictures or whatever, but saying don't try to contact me on there because I don't really know how to use it. I don't even know if that's possible on there.
All right, we're gonna get into the meat of the show now.
Yeah,
the rest of it. All
an
right, so
hour later.
No, that's cool. That was what we needed to do. So hold on, I'll play a commercial. All right, I'm gonna bring up the. We'll talk about like being kids, you know, when we run around in the mountains.
Yeah,
okay,
I saw that.
And then
hope that didn't run too long. That little part.
It's fine. It's perfect.
Where'd you get that music?
Made it. All right, I don't have any music for Chilrens Dreams, so I'm playing some other music for it that I made. All right. So Chilrens Dreams, this is a segment where talk about like memories of past, right? On this show we talked about, I guess on past shows we talked about like bike pedals just raking your shins.
I was just talking about that the other day.
I mean, those things were like, this is the worst, right? But this one, because we have a history, and we both grew up in the mountains, right?
Yes.
And we spent a ton of time in those mountains.
Yes.
Dude, climbing hills, like, for no fucking reason, but to just climb to the top and then spend all day.
No food, no water.
Yeah.
No accountability, no cell phone, no way for our parents to know where we were.
Nothing. Just gone.
And we survived.
Yeah, I mean, totally. And it's strange. Like, so Kaylin's on the show, you know, well, I don't think we talked about this on the show before, but we talked about this. And obviously you call me Dadzilla, right? Like, in a way. And
yeah.
I'm not truly a helicopter parent, though, in the sense that I do let my daughter, you know, fail, and I let her do things but there's no way I would let my daughter do that, right? Like the stuff that we would do. I'm just saying, even if she was 10, 12, no, I'm not. I got to think like, dude, seriously, Nick, you'd walk up those all the scree and all the talus and all that stuff up the side of the hill. I mean, I could have easily rock slide, kill all of us, right? Like, but it didn't.
Or two, but.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know, but definitely it kind of shapes you for sure. Like you always have fond memories of that, and it was. Sometimes I think about it, and it's maybe because it was escape as well. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we would definitely learn to be more independent.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are. I don't know how to say it. You know, Nikki has 2 boys, and I love them. They're awesome, and you know, don't have any kids of my own, but I'm taking a lot of responsibility for these.
Right.
Their dad is in the picture, and he's an awesome dude, and he and I get along real good. But you know, I'm trying to help as much as I can, but I just see them missing out on a lot of what, like you and I had.
Mm-hmm.
Running around in the mountains, having adventures, not being sucked into a screen 24 hours.
Right, that's key.
That kind of independence. Like, I remember getting so thirsty that I'd go drink out of a creek or out of a puddle.
Always.
You know? And,
yes.
You know, and it toughened us up. We were definitely tougher.
You know what's
mentally tough too.
You know what's funny about that is that, like you said, we'd drink out of creeks, right? And out of just whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, like the first time that I heard that you weren't supposed to do that, I was in the military, and I was like, they're like, that's last ditch, man. You don't do that until it's like, you know, in well, I don't remember what class it was in or whatever, but and then even then I was like, in my head I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, I grew up drinking out of creeks.
Of course, the water up where we grew up is a little cleaner.
It is, you know, it is, but and then as like it goes against everybody's survival, all the survivalists, you know, like you see on Naked and Afraid, like, oh no, that's a huge, but like that was.
Yeah.
It was not. We didn't think twice. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm thirsty."
Yeah,
this drink out
water.
of the. Yeah, it's running. Yeah. I drink out of it. Oh, it's a puddle.
I'm thirsty. Big deal.
Thirsty. Big deal. Like, dude, it's wonder. Be like, oh, why'd you have the shits? I don't know. But yeah, we definitely did grow up. You know, you grow up at altitude as well, like a higher altitude.
Well, I was just telling somebody this story the other day how. You know, we were over 5,000 feet where our practice field was.
Yeah.
And because of the way Lead and Deadwood are.
It's talking about football, so go ahead.
Yeah. Everything is steps.
Everything is steps and stairs.
To get wherever you have to go because it's straight up or straight down. Hardly anything's level. And so we had really strong legs. And I remember just in high school, Coach, I think it was Coach Rice was talking about how much stronger our legs were than the teams we played against because we were going up the stairs all day, every day.
And the endurance that we could have, right?
And
totally.
Just when we went down to play Belfouche or Spearfish or wherever, and they're at a much lower elevation, how more physically fit we were.
That's true. You know what it was? I don't remember who it was, but I remember that talk, and they said that. It might have been Coach Heinen that was telling us that as well, Mr. Heinen, because he goes, look, you guys, you guys have really strong legs and your endurance is great, but your stretching is shit. Yeah, I don't know if he said shit, but
he probably did.
He probably did. But he goes, and that's the only reason that they can run faster than you, but they're never going to outrun you long term. You're going to be able to, you got more wind, but you got to be able to stretch because your muscles are so tight all the time. Yeah, we would stretch. We sponge mostly.
Sponge was the best.
Yeah.
Still my favorite. I still try to sponge,
as much as I can. But yeah,
it was just a really great, a really unique experience.
And you think about like as conflicted as the home life was, like I don't know, you know what I mean? You know, like it was this like a great experience over here. So it was like a weird duality that happened, right? Like where you could be like, I'm out there and there's nothing can touch me.
I remember being 15 years old because when we grew up, you could get your driver's license at 14 where we lived.
Yeah.
Being 15 years old, load up all my camping gear in my Subaru and going to Robay Lake for the whole weekend. You know? There were no cell phones, so it's not like we checked in.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going camping at Robay. I'll be back before school on Monday, or whatever.
Yeah, dude. Crazy. Fun, though. Yeah. Definitely. All right, we're going to get into the news.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to bring this up. Hot zone. All right, so right now, this is it says WikiLeaks releases docs. This comes from Sputnik. Is that what it is?
That's what it looks like.
So it says WikiLeaks releases docs on Dumbo CIA tool allowing control of webcams. This is why your webcam, you've become a ghost on the show.
Am I still a ghost?
You look like Tron.
What is going on? Is it the camera? But should I tap the camera or something?
Maybe tap the camera.
Did that help?
I don't know. Anyways, so let's read this. It says WikiLeaks released new documents on Thursday within the Vault 7 documents, which contain information on CIA's hacking tools from the Dumbo project. Dumbo is capable to suspend processes utilizing webcams and corrupt any video recordings that could compromise PAG deployment. So that's a PAG means Physical Access Group, is a special branch within the Center for Cyber Intelligence. Its task is to gain and exploit physical access to target computers in the CIA field of operations. Dude, think about that for a minute. Just think about so think about the ramifications of that. It's utilized in everybody's brains, utilized in a warfare mentality, right? But the capability of being able, of that on everybody's webcam.
Because every computer comes with a camera now.
Every computer.
I think it's required. I have tape over mine.
Right. Every computer does.
TVs do. Phones do.
Yeah. Everything.
Video game consoles do. They all have cameras on them.
Listen to this. The tool allows for the identification, control, and manipulation of monitoring and the detection systems like webcams and microphones on a target computer running the Microsoft Windows operating system. It requires a direct access to the computer as it's run from a USB stick. So they're trying to say that it needs direct access.
So they have to actually physically make contact with the computer at some point.
I guess so. But I doubt that's the case.
I doubt it too.
I highly doubt it. I don't know. I think that the more that we find out about this, I always tack on the extreme to it because they're only releasing, little bits and tidbits of it. And you got to think that they're 15 years in advanced, right? Technologically.
You would hope, but if you think about it, the Army's about 20 years behind on everything, so you never know.
Yeah. I
also know a guy, I used to have a guy, and I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he was in our unit, and his civilian job was like cyber espionage type stuff. And he's actually working for the government now because they are so far behind, and they are so out of date. And he pretty much told me, he's like, if you ever want to commit a crime, it's really easy. You can get away with anything for about 6 months.
Well, and the government is the best at committing crimes.
Yeah, that's the truth.
All right, so the next one. I'm not responding. I'll pull it over there in a minute. The next one I titled "The Great Brain Drain," right? And it says that this comes from, as soon as it pops up, it says U.S. faces looming shortage of primary care physicians. So this is pretty. All this is doing is talking about it.
They're monitoring your
It's
heart
a
rate.
replay.
Dr. Norman just started her internal.
It's a replay of history, and the UK faced this in the '60s, the late '60s. So when they do medicine in the United Kingdom, they figured out that doctors don't want to work for nothing, right? Like doctors go to school.
Yeah, they work really hard.
There's a reason that they go to school and that they put in the time back then, and it was probably a huge expense to go to school to become a physician, and the effort and the studying and the hours and all of that to become a doctor. Whenever the socialized medicine kicks in and they say, oh, well, you're only going to be able to earn X amount of dollars, it's capping your limit. Maybe you won't be able to open private practices. Well, we're facing the same thing here. You don't think that, like, whenever socialized, well, I mean, it's obvious socialized medicine kicks in, and now doctors, they're going to try to find wherever else they can, another nation that's going to pay them more money for their skills, and they'll leave, or they won't become doctors, or people will be like, What's the point in becoming a doctor? What's the point?
I'll become an attorney.
I'll be
They're
I can rake people over the coals, for that, right? But, so what do you think about that phenomenon? You think it's like
Well, that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is that we keep trying. I don't know what it is with people in government or people that are running the show, for the last however many years. They feel like, okay, so this thing has failed everywhere else, but we're going to do it right.
We're going to change it.
It won't fail. It'll work for us, even though it's failed for everybody else. Like socialized medicine, socialism in general. Instead of saying, well, that obviously hasn't worked there, and in all these other places where it's failed miserably, so maybe we should not do that.
Yeah,
does that make sense? I'm not articulating it.
No. I mean, I get it. So here's the deal, though, is that it's always for political power, right? So they're running off of this. They're running off of this emotional. They've already compromised the natural rights of man, right? And they do that by producing all these pseudo rights and all of these false rights that don't truly exist. Like you look back at like FDR, right? So Franklin Delano Roosevelt wrote like the economic Bill of Rights, and he stated, oh well, everybody deserves education. Everybody has a right to education. Everybody has a right to a farm. Everybody has a right to all these certain things, right? So, at whose expense are these rights guaranteed?
I don't understand how those are rights.
Well, and
you have a right to pursue having a farm. You have a right to pursue an education.
Right. So the idea is that, I mean, think about that though. If 80% of the population at that time are farmers, right, or want to be farmers, what a better way to gain political power by stating that everybody has a right to this, and everybody has a right to a fair wage, and everybody has all this stuff. Like, it's guaranteed. You're guaranteed to have this, and these are pseudo rights that actually subvert the natural rights, right? So they devalue those natural rights that are actually, like you have a right to sustain your life without the threat of violence, right? So you have a right to interact freely with each other without the threat of violence, right? And they do this as a way to take away that individual self pioneer spirit, right? That willingness to take care of yourself, and they say, oh, well, you have a right to this. This should be guaranteed, not get out there and do it. Get out there and get this. Get out there and take it for yourself. No, don't worry about it. You've got it.
Right to it. We're going to give it to you.
We're going to give it to you.
It makes you more dependent and more dependent,
right?
And more beholden.
And the state becomes your god.
Surrender more of your rights for security
and comfort.
Yes.
All right. I don't think we even need to. We did it. We covered it.
There.
Yeah. All right. Next. All right. This comes from Bloomberg. I'll just read it because when I pull it over there, it seems to mess up. It says, cannabis grower buys California town to build pot-friendly outpost. Okay. So it says, American Green Incorporated, a market of cannabis products, is taking an unusual step to attract new customers as it capitalizes on California legalizing marijuana. So, as you know, California has fully legalized it, right? Like
for recreational use.
Yeah, for everything. Okay, so there's only 20 states left that don't have some form of legalized or medical marijuana in the United States. 21, I think, in the United States. So
I didn't realize it was that big of a number.
This last election, everything will go in place in 2018. So they kind of did the same thing that they did with Colorado and stuff. So it says it's buying an entire town. The company has acquired the tiny burg of Nipton, California, for about $5 million and plans to invest as much as $2.5 million over the next 18 months to create pot-friendly tourist destination. The purchase includes 120 acres of land. Dude, there's only 120 acres of land.
That's really small.
Right, but $5 million. So, with a general store, a hotel, a school building, and mineral baths. So, what I guess what I found fascinating about this was that I think you're going to start seeing more of these types of things, right? Like where they capitalize on the idea, like it'll become a niche type of thing, right?
I was thinking niche community,
right? Like you know how like you go to places and there's like vineyards and a winery, right?
I want to start a 3-gun community.
There you go.
Do not commit any crimes in our town. You will regret it.
Everybody will be very polite.
Yeah.
And they'll be shooting lots of shit.
Everybody's walking around with cool bowling shirts on.
Yeah. Feel my shirt. It's silky.
Look at how many brands I have.
Mm-hmm. So I just think I think that this is gonna become more and more popular throughout the rest of the United States. You're gonna have they'll cater it towards different types of, like, one might be more hippie, the other one will be even more hippie.
I could see a lot of like veterans communities, for military vets.
Yeah.
Just because they tend to stick together. Weird.
So, like in this, I guess in this case, is this the sign of like more compartmentalization of our society, like, or is it just simply like, because when they say it's just a tourist spot, but soon, I mean, there's going to be people that are like, there's going to be tons of people that will want to move there, right?
Yeah. And
they'll be like, oh, this is our 420 town or whatever, And do you see more of a compartmentalization of society, or is this
a deliberate compartmentalization?
I don't know if it's deliberate. I think maybe it is deliberate, but I don't think it's a direct deliberate like action, right? Like
it's not the Illuminati moving chess pieces around. Hey, we're going to get all the potheads here.
No, I mean, I wouldn't go. I would say that it's like an ancillary thing that happens, but that's a goal, right? An ancillary, a small ancillary goal
to segregate people, even,
I mean, because we see it politically, we see the compartmentalization, and I don't necessarily mean that this is this article is making that case, but I think you'll see more communities, like just niche communities, pop up, like what you're saying, and I think with the legalization of marijuana, you're going to see lots more of those as well, right? Like,
well, I think it's just people want to be around people who share their same values, so I don't really have a problem with it, because now it's like, okay, so I'm not a pothead, so I'm probably going to avoid that town just because.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. They probably got a lot of good snacks and brownies.
And stuff. I mean, I might you might. Yeah. You might be like, damn, they got some good snacks there. Though, when we're talking about that compartmentalization, there's this thing called the Valley of. Oh my gosh, it's like just think about Facebook, for example. Think about Facebook during the last election. You had echo chambers over here, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody that agreed with whatever side they were on, right? No. Valley of rational thought, meaning that everybody over here agreed with themselves. Everybody over here were bickering with each other, right? And in between, you have, like on Facebook, you have tons of likes on this side, right? Like if you're in an echo chamber. And over here, it's tons of comments, flame wars going on. Like people are like, oh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. He's going to do this. And you're not accomplishing any goal. There's no like, you're not converting anybody with your comment by saying, you're even if you type out this big long,
and even if you're
rational
100% right, you're still not going to change anybody's mind.
No, and it's like this thing. So I'm thinking, like, in society, this is happening more and more. Like Facebook is just a reflection of it. It's just a less polite reflection, because in society you can't just walk up to somebody and be like, you're just a fucking idiot. You don't know what the fuck you're talking. You can do that. You can do that. But the likelihood of
you're not going to have many friends.
Right. And you're also, you don't know you don't know who you're talking to. Yeah. Some guy just might be like, oh, really? You don't know.
A beer bottle.
Yeah. You don't know. So, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to look at. It's interesting, I guess. I wonder how our kids like how then, like my kids or like that generation of children, how they're gonna grow up. I hope what happens is they realize how fucking crazy it is that you just interact with people online constantly and you don't ever really.
To them, it's completely natural.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who was I talking to? What child? And I can't remember the interaction, but I said something about like no internet or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like dumbfounded. Like they couldn't even grasp the concept.
Like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next story, but I want to ask: do you think things like this, like communities like this popping up, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, so I think back to like the city-states of old, or like the Articles of Confederation with state sovereignty, where the states had a lot more of their sovereignty. If we can keep government out of these little niche communities, I think it's
amazing,
a good thing.
right?
I think it's a great thing because it's like, hey,
It's more power to the individual.
Exactly. It's like, hey, I don't really want to hang around with the potheads, but I kind of like the cocaine guys over here, so I'm going to go live with the cocaine guys. Or I don't like the cocaine guys, but I do like this.
Fucking talking my ear off.
I do like the nudist people over here, so I'm going to go live with them. Or I'm going to go live with in Garrett's 3-gun community or whatever. Mike's
or it's the cocaine 3-gun community.
Yeah, or
whatever it is. Right, okay.
We'll just, I think it's kind of cool. As long as everybody can get along and respect each other.
Yeah.
But hey, stop blowing all your weed smoke over in our town.
Yeah, you're ruining my high.
Yeah, this is cocaine town. Over here. Quit it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting though.
Yeah.
All right, next one. This one comes from Daily Mail. So it says, "Would you hop into bed with a sex bot?" A
what?
A sex bot. So
a sex bot or sex bot?
Bot.
Like a robot. That's
robot. This question's not being meant to ask to a man.
Oh.
So obviously men would. Right? So here it is.
I don't think I would.
No?
No.
It'd be weird, right? Have you not seen those? Have you seen those real dolls? We've talked about them on the show before. Have you seen a real doll? Are you serious? Oh, dude, I got it. Hold on. I don't know if I can.
I mean, is it like a blow up doll?
No. Really it's like a $16,000.
Yes, I have seen those. I've seen some like news articles about them.
Are you sure you went on the website?
No, well, there was a guy that owned I saw some article. There was a guy that owned 6 of them or whatever.
That's not a woman.
That's not a person?
No.
Okay, now that one I might
see.
Bed with.
I told you. All right. I can't show. It says adults only, so YouTube is not adults only. All right. So this article says this. Would you hop into bed? This article's going to play. Would you hop into bed with a sex bot? Tracy Cox reveals why women should embrace dolls for better orgasms. You got to think it's going to have the G spot stimulator.
It's going to be designed for them specifically.
They insist that it won't make men redundant. All right. Well, okay. It says sex robots are coming, and there's little we can do to stop them. One California company already supplies 600 hyper-realistic sex dolls per year to customers. Give it a decade, and sex bots will be commonplace. Understandably, there are real fears that sex robots are misogynistic and will fuel the objectification of, I can't even say it.
Objectification.
Yeah, objectification of women. There's already a sex robot whose setting includes frigid, enabling men to simulate. Oh, that's not good. Frigid. There's already a sex robot setting and includes frigid, enabling men to simulate rape.
Ugh.
It's a repellent concept and one that horrifies most men as well as women. But the long-term future doesn't have to be men addicted to female robots that service their every dark desire. It says the market for sex bots is currently 95% male-dominated, right? That's those real bots. Meaning all the research is directed to developing female sex robots for straight men. This is short-sighted. Women could be far more open to sex bots than manufacturers think we could in fact be the best customers. Just one thing needs to happen. I want to tell you though, I watched a Vice series on, I don't know if it was on HBO or if it was on YouTube, but a Vice series of this woman who she does her own little vlog or whatever you call it, and she goes out, and in one of them she has sex with a male. I don't know if it was a robot, it was a doll per se, but it was like one of those real dolls, but it was a male one, and she was all about it. So I mean,
wouldn't she have to do all the work?
Yeah, she definitely has to do all the work. I don't think he's like hammering away.
I don't care what the doll looks like. I don't want to have to do all the work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't have any female warm-bodied partner, then I mean, I don't have an issue with people out there like nailing dolls and stuff. If that's their thing, that's or if they, what if the,
It's just kind of strange to me. It's just not something that I can.
I think
like.
That's why.
To me, it's like I want the person that I'm with to want to be with me. That's part of it.
Yeah.
That they desire me, and it's not just about the
act of banging.
The act of banging. Yeah. That to me, that's just not really that. I want them to want to be there.
So according to this article, that's not what women want. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It says women in sex bots could get on very, very well. Women already use sex toys, and we don't really care if the toy looks anything like a man or his bits. Women's porn habits are more varied than men's, and we're far more erotically plastic in that our sexuality is more fluid than a man's. I don't know what that means exactly.
I think it means that they're more prone to being bisexual. I don't know.
That's probably right. So basically, this article goes on to say that it's basically I was going to put this in ode to women, but it's what it is like, I'm good with women being open. Like, I don't care. I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with that if I mean, it'd be kind of weird to see a rubber dude in my house.
Yeah, I don't think I would be okay with that.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't be jealous. I would be freaked out. Because you know what's going to happen one night. I'm going to come home, and she's going to move that damn thing, and I'm going to be shooting it.
That's probably the case.
Walk in the door and unload on it.
Blow his bits off.
And I might even try to make it look like an accident.
I don't the cleanup, man. That's what we talked about on this. Because we talked about a brothel in Ireland that. I
didn't even think about that.
A brothel in Ireland that has sex dolls, right? And which is fucking genius now that I think about it. But
because you don't have to feed them or pay them or anything.
Right, but you just have to make sure they're clean, right? Like,
oh, dude, I just got sick to my stomach.
Just taking them to the car wash.
What if you went there and they didn't clean it for like 6 dudes before you? Oh, dude, I'm just kind of feeling sick.
You're gonna have glazed donuts.
Oh, come on, that's horrible.
All right, here we're gonna move on to the next segment. Are you ready?
Please.
All right. This is DickTarian. DickTarian goes out to John McCain. This guy's an asshole. All right. John McCain is the face of corruption. It says, John McCain dramatic healthcare vote stops repeal of Obamacare. So, analysis of opinion. Matt Drudge of Drudge Report fame didn't take kindly to Senator John McCain's recent thumbs down vote on Obamacare repeal. In a tweet that quickly amassed 5.5 thousand or 5.5. I'm so used to saying 5 millions because at work. So 5,500 or so likes and near 2,800 retweets. Drudge simply wrote, "Corruption has so many faces." The message was atop a photo of McCain campaign photo that included the senator's face and this text: John McCain leading the fight to stop Obamacare, right? Because he's not.
Yeah.
Right. A picture says 1,000 words, but in this case, one suffices. A Drudge nailed it. Corruption. So basically, what he did was, McCain was supposedly supposed to be. McCain, pure and simple, screwed Republicans, conservatives, and Donald Trump on Obamacare repeal, and did it simply because he could. he did it because post-brain cancer diagnosis, he has nothing to lose. His political career is nearing its end. He's made his money. He's secured his family's financial future. He did it bluntly because he hates Trump more than he loves. What is that?
It's just some music keeps playing.
It's weird. Anyways, so dude just completely tanked it. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't been following either side.
I've been listening to it on the radio quite a bit. This healthcare thing, and it's just.
I mean, they're gonna repeal it and replace it, right?
That's what they say. Why are they gonna replace it?
Yeah, exactly. Because
let the free market do its thing. Just repeal it.
There you go, my man. All right, we don't have to stick on that one too long. All right, Ode to Women. This is cleavage. Ode to Women to cleavage.
Boy.
So it says, getting off her chest, Emily Ratajkowski flashes cleavage as she unbuttons her shirt for a peep show on Instagram. So see, you're on Instagram now, so you can see these.
Yeah, it's not really that awesome. I've seen better.
I don't know who Emily Ratajkowski is.
Neither do I.
But we appreciate all of the Instagram photos.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that's not her. That's somebody else.
Are you sure?
I think.
No, that's her.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
She looks a lot better in that picture.
So what I wanted to say is thank you to all those women out there that make their Instagrams sexy.
Kind of slutty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm on Instagram, can we get some more of that, please? And if Cody Allenbaugh is listening, I want one of his cleavage.
All right, perfect.
On Instagram tomorrow.
All right, here comes the next segment.
I don't know if I should have dropped Cody's last name. Oh, well.
He's fine. He's a commenter. Do you know this song?
I recognize it, but no. Is this Knight Rider?
No, but it's close. It's not a car. It's a helicopter.
Oh, Airwolf.
Airwolf. Right. All right.
Airwolf.
So next one comes. We're busting through these. So this is if the FBI has your biometrics, it doesn't have to tell you. I'm not going to read this whole article. Basically, what it says is the FBI can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Every government agency can. I mean,
and it's just another abuse of authority. Look at that. So we're blowing through these. I just figured I'd like that music. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, at first I was like, what is that? And I thought it was Knight Rider, but Airwolf is way cooler. What was the other helicopter show? Oh, Blue something.
Blue Thunder. Holy shit.
Good. I actually
forgot about that.
I always thought Blue Thunder would kick Airwolf's ass.
Did you feel that earthquake last night?
No.
Oh. That's for our next segment.
Oh.
You remember this?
Yes.
All right, weird science. All right. Earthquake shakes central Oklahoma, one of 7 in 28 hours. So last night, must have been, I don't know, it didn't say it on, I didn't read this article. I just put it on here because I wanted to talk about the earthquakes. I wanted to talk about this article.
Okay.
Or I wanted to talk about the earthquakes. Dude, why the hell are we getting so many?
Well, apparently it's the water that they're injecting in to backfill the fracking stuff.
I don't know, but I think that's a horseshit answer.
Even the fracking people are admitting, they're like, yeah, it's our fault, sorry.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, think about that for a minute. So they're injecting water back in to take the place of oil that was in there, correct?
Right. And what they do, I guess, is they drill a hole in, they drop a really small explosion. It only has like a 5-foot diameter, 5-foot radius. So the explosion is small and it cracks the rock to allow the oil to, and I could be wrong, but
all right.
this based, I talked to our mutual friend who was used to be in the oil industry.
Yeah.
And it allows the oil to seep through the rock and they can extract it easier.
Right.
But then they have to fill that void up with something. And
with water.
So they use the water to lubricate the oil and to extract it, and then they pump that water back in there to backfill. And apparently, the pumping the water in somehow causes earthquakes.
See, I got it.
I just can't think that the Earth is quite that fragile.
That fragile? Yeah. This is my thing. It's like we are sitting, all of those plates are sitting on fucking molten lava. Yeah. Right? Like the Earth's plates sit on this big ball of molten steel and not steel, molten
rock.
Yeah, molten rock, which is different types of minerals and whatnot. And it's basically all this stuff is floating on it, right? I mean, that's kind of how it works, right?
We live on the crust.
We live on the crust, and it's in the middle is like it'd be like eating one of those chocolate balls that have the Ferrero Rochers, right? That's like what it's like. So in the middle is the chocolate. It's hot chocolate in the middle, and I got to think that that's probably more the case. Like we're just shooting a little bit of. We're shooting. I don't know how much water. You got to think. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I mean, but of course, who knows what these scientists say? You know, this whole like the climate change thing is all based on computer models, and there's not actually one bit of actual true scientific evidence to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just who knows.
So you're right, though. It says scientists link the quake boom to the widespread oil industry practicing of pumping waste fluid into underground disposal wells.
Yeah.
But you would think that this would be much more prevalent in not just in central Oklahoma. It would be prevalent
it's not like this is the only place where they're doing fracking.
There's the Bakken oil fields in or is that do they not do fracking up there?
I don't know.
They don't. That's like that's different. But they frack everywhere.
Yeah.
Fracking assholes. But hopefully one day we see the end of that. We see the end of, I guess, the dependence on dirty energy, and we start to find like.
Well, I think we're moving closer to that all the time.
I think it
takes time.
I think if you didn't subsidize the oil industry, if taxpayers didn't subsidize the oil industry, you would see. Because then more money would be pumped into that other idea. I wouldn't want the government to subsidize green energies either. I'd just say, let them fucking compete.
Let the market sort it out. I mean, allegedly, the internal combustion engine has been obsolete since like the 1970s. I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows?
But probably patents allow it to stay stifled.
Well, and lobbyists and all kinds. Mm-hmm. There's just so much politics that goes into that kind of stuff, and who knows? Who knows? I think I won't be alive to see it all probably, but the next 50 years is going to be really interesting on this planet, to see which way we go. Because we could either destroy ourselves or we could really become enlightened and really advance our civilization. I don't know. Interesting.
I like the latter. Yeah. Well, that does it, man.
Oh, are we done?
We're done.
Oh, good. No, I'm joking.
Mm-hmm. Unless you want to talk about this thing that's been sitting in there. Do you know what technological singularity is?
I have no idea.
All right. We can do this real quick. Short segment, all right?
Okay.
And then let's see. Yeah, I made all the music on this.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've gotten really good at it.
Thanks. All right, so this is a tinfoil hat, but I don't think it's really tinfoil hat. So the idea of technological singularity. So technological singularity, all it is the advancement of artificial intelligence, right? So artificial intelligence being the very thing that we're talking about, right? The computers, phones, all these things, right? Okay, so ultimately, like the Matrix would be technological singularity, right? So I think Nick has said it multiple times on this show, is that once artificial intelligence becomes self-aware and it can self-replicate, then it's technologically it becomes way more advanced, right?
And we become obsolete.
So yes, we do become obsolete. But the deal is if we think about this, let's think about the idea why would we be pushing towards technological singularity? Like, why would humans push towards that idea?
I think personally, it's just for ego. Hey, look what I did! I did it. I'm the one that did it.
So,
or look what we did, or Google, whoever.
It could be, but also it could be like, so I've been thinking about this economically, because that's what I like. That's how, like, I don't know. And I wanted to talk to my students about this in the latest class that I'm talking about. But it could be so the basic of economics is there's unlimited wants and there's limited resources, right? And if you think about it, that's a problem, right? Like, that creates a problem, right? And you can't solve that problem, because that's how the earth, that's how we work. There are unlimited, everybody has choice, everybody has unlimited wants, everybody wants something, but there are limited resources to solve those issues, to meet those wants, right? And so, in thinking about this, like, to solve issues, we come up with algorithms. We come up with all these different things. We come up with this artificial intelligence to make our lives more comfortable, right? To satisfy these wants and these needs, like everything. I mean, even the computer, even your phone. Your phone is this technological wonder that at just the touch of a screen, a car will show up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I touch the screen, a car shows up, a guy, I get in, pizza in it, or he takes me downtown. I don't even have to call anybody. I can just push a button. I can order anything from my house off of my phone, and it shows up at my doorstep. Now it can advertise to me. Like, it knows how I think. Yeah. It knows how, just by my history, it can analyze it, or it listens to me. I don't even know. I can say, Siri, blah, 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 whatever, this and that. But it's all made for comfort. And then you come to your house and you have smart homes now, and homes that you walk in and you can just say lights, and the lights come on. You can say make coffee, and a coffee maker starts making. You can do all these things, and it becomes intuitive to your timing. They make beds that are intuitive to the way that you sleep. They adjust the patterns throughout the night. Whenever you get restless, it adjusts automatically without you even thinking. They have your television. You can just push a button on your television and say.
We talk to our remote.
Yeah,
I don't even ever have to push buttons.
Yeah, you put a History Channel, or
push the little button and say Game of Thrones.
Exactly, and it goes.
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily artificial intelligence per se, but there's a point there, right? We have sex bots now that or probably within the next 5 years are learning your behaviors and giving you what you want at the time that you want it. However, right? There are all these different things. Your cars are driving themselves, and it's to solve these wants that we have, to take away. It's to give us comfort, right?
Yeah,
ideally, that's what it is.
I was thinking about.
That's what it is.
And to satisfy,
make your life easier, right?
Immediate gratification. Yeah.
So now think about it on a grand scale. What if we look at the way that we farm, right? What if we look at the way that we plant seeds and the way that we water seeds, and eventually artificial intelligence runs every scenario possible and says, look, this is how this farm should be actually optimized, and we can do it. And we can solve world hunger, right? Like, so, like these things over and over, like, okay, you're not utilizing the proper amount of land space. Oh, wait, there's too many humans on this planet, right? We've got to cull the amount of humans because the race won't survive, blah, blah, blah. And so over time, technological singularity will eliminate the idea of a free market in the sense where it becomes you must adapt to.
If you're not contributing to the technological singularity, then there's no reason for you.
There's no reason
live.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and because what else are you going to do? You're going to be unemployed,
and so you must submit then,
to death, or you're going to be beholden to.
But the deal is that these scientists
you're not going to be contributing anything. So why even have you around?
So there'd be two schools of thought, right? You could be like, either there's nefarious people that would be pushing for this idea, or there's people there's three. There's nefarious people that are pushing for this idea, that are manipulating the good people, the good scientists, and the good people to continue this kind of push towards this, right? And then there's just good well-intentioned people that are like, look, I'm trying to solve world hunger, and I figured out an algorithm that will help give this computer better understanding of how we live, what, you know, blah blah blah. I can't speak to the science part of it, but just saying that it creates us by default to become a collective. Like, that's the idea. Like, and you have to be part of a communist world at that point, where it's all your needs are met, but you live it, all your needs are met to a point as long as you serve the collective's purpose, right? And I mean,
your basic needs are met, nutrition.
Yeah, and
that's probably it, and probably not even good nutrition. Maybe, I don't know.
And as you know, you probably, it'd be funny to think like, okay, so we're building all this stuff to make our lives easier so we can watch TV and just relax and do that stuff. Yeah, and as the computer takes over, the computer's like, we have to sustain the human population, so you need to exercise and you need to do this. You're like, fuck, it's making me get up and exercise. Like Big Brother, yeah, exactly. Like exactly.
It's except it'll be computers.
It'll be computer Big Brother. That's all I wanted to talk about, like the technological singularity. It's something that people don't. I don't think they know the term of it, like what technological singularity is. But it is. It's whenever maximum overdrive happens, right?
So you were talking about how you walk in and you say lights and your lights come on.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Star Trek movie? It was the one where they travel back in time and rescue the whales.
Yes, that's one with Spock in it,
Spock's
I mean,
but yeah.
I don't mean Spock. It has it's where they come back to Earth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Spock's on Earth. Yeah.
And, well, anyways, I think it's Scotty comes in and he's at a computer from like 1989 or whenever that movie was made.
Uh-huh.
He picks the mouse up and he holds it up and he goes, computer, and he talks into the mouse. And the guy's like, what the heck? And that's what I was thinking about that. I was like, well, we're there now. We just say, hey, computer.
You talk to your remote. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. You just think about, like, go back to whenever we were kids. If we'd have came into this room,
like,
what the fuck is going on
in here? Those bubbles in the screen? You know, that's, yeah.
You just think about that, like.
Think about video games when we were kids.
Uh-huh.
Not that we played them that much, but, you know, and even the cool ones like Contra.
Uh-huh.
And then you look at video games
They're
now.
shit back then.
Oh, my gosh. It's so different.
That is crazy.
But anyways.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
Good talking to you, man.
I enjoyed getting to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. You need to come over and see the new house.
Yeah, I will do that.
Right.
You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Adios, muchachos. Right. Thanks for listening. All right,
Is that it? Can I take my headphones off?
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching on YouTube.